All right, so turn in to page 733 to 738. Put your name on it. And then when you get the time to staple here later, it goes right over here. And this page here goes on top. And you forgot that, Ireland. So this kind of breaks it down a little easier for you, I think, personally. I don't think we're going to use this method, but it's just another way to multiply fractions, all right? If you don't understand this way, but you understand the way that we learned the other day, I'm perfectly fine with you just multiplying, okay? But I do want to show some people, maybe they learn visually and they see things a little different than what some of us do. So I don't want to take that away from you. So again, at 733 to 738, as we talk about every single day that we do this, we talk about what strategies can be used to multiply fractions, and this is just another way, as I said earlier, to multiply fractions. And we're going to draw it today. Now, I think at first, you're going to look at it and you're going to say, what? Like I did. Then I think once you do a couple of them, you're going to be like, oh, okay, that ain't too bad. Because mostly they draw out the squares for you. You just have to shade stuff in. So this is our problem we have right here. It's 1/3 times 1/4. Now, if I did that problem, what's 1 times 1?
1.
Nobody else knew what 1 times 1 was?
1.
All right, so what's 3 times 4?
12.
12. So I know that my answer is going to be 1/12 because that's the easy way of doing it. But let's just say perhaps you don't know how to multiply 3 times 4. Maybe it's a bigger number. You don't know that. This is where you can divide, or you can draw the picture. Now, these are the numbers we're going to use today. What is that bottom number called again? Gavin, you remember what that bottom number is called? Starts with a D. Denominator. Good job. We're going to use the denominator to find this area. Okay? So 3 and a 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the square into 3 equal rows, since the denominator in the first fraction is the 3. We're going to divide the square into 4 equal columns, since the denominator in the second fraction is 4. So notice how we have 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Because of this 3 and the 4. That's the only reason why we divided it like that. All right, that's the first part. Now, shade the portion of the model where 1/3 and 1/4 intersect. So again, this is 1/3, right? 2/3, 3/3. So we're going to shade in 1/3, which we did here. That's 1/3, right? We shade in 1 out of these 3. Now we're going to shade it. How many sections of the model are shaded? How many did I shade right there? 1, right? I shaded 1. Put a 1 right there. I shaded 1. Now, we're going to shade in the fourths, okay? We're going to shade in 1 out of the 4. So we shaded in 1 out of the 4, right? So we only shaded in 1 square. Now my question is, how many squares total are there? Count those up, somebody. How many total squares do we have right here? 12. And how many are shaded? So we have 1 out of the 12 are shaded. Was that my original answer? 1/12? 1/12, right? 1/12 is shaded. So, number of shaded sections, 1. Total number of sections, 12. So this answer is 1/12. Write those in the blanks right there. We're going to have a lot more examples here, so don't worry. Still there, Mikey?
Yeah.
All right, good. So I'm going to move on to the independent practice. Because they give you a lot of words, and I'm just kind of tired of their words, to be honest with you. They use a lot of words, and it's like, you know what? Just get us to the work that we need to do here. All right. So if you look here, 6, 6, and 3. Well, look, they divided 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then divided 1, 2, 3. So how many of these are we going to shade for 1/6? 1, right? 1, 6. So we're going to shade in 1/6 of those. Now we have 1, 2, 3. You have our thirds. How many are we going to shade into the thirds?
2.
So we have that shaded, and we shade this in also. We have 2 of them shaded in. How many total squares are there? If you count them, there's 18. That's our bottom number. How many are shaded?
2.
Can I leave it like that?
No.
Divide them both by what?
2.
2. Which gives me 1, 9. Again, if I did this problem the old-fashioned way and said, well, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 6 divided by 2 is 3, I'm still going to get 1/9 if I multiply straight across. It's just another way of doing it by showing a picture. All right, so in this one right here, number 5, they've divided it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They divided it into 1, 2, 3. So how many total squares are there, first of all?
15.
There's 15 total squares. Now, how many are we going to shade in of the 3/5?
3.
So we're going to shade in 1, 2, 3. All right? How many of the 1/3 are we going to shade in this way? So we already have that shaded in, right? So how many total are shaded?
3.
Can I leave it like that?
No.
I'm going to divide both by 3, which gives me 1/5. Again, if I would have done it this way, I could have crossed these out and made them 1s. 1/5 was our answer, either way. So, again, this is just another strategy to help you multiply fractions if you needed to. If you didn't even have these pictures here. Now, I hate it that they give you the pictures in advance, because I think it would help you guys to draw them out like, okay, well, I need to draw a square, right? And then I need to draw 4 sections. There's 4 sections, right? So I have my 4 right here. And then I need to draw my 6, because there's 6 right there. So I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So see, it would have taught you to draw your own. How many of these am I going to shade of this 4th? These are on here. So I'm going to shade in 1, 2, 3. Now you think this is crazy, but I've actually seen kids. I had a little girl in 4th grade at Dollins. She didn't multiply. She did this to multiply, and then she added them all up, and she got everything right. I watched her do it on iStep. But man, it took her forever. How many of these are we going to shade in of the 1/6? Well, there's already 1 shaded, right? So how many total are shaded?
3.
3 out of how many are there?
4.
Can I leave it like that? Divide them both by 3, which gives me 1/8. Okay? Again, I could have said, well, 3 divided by 3 is 1. It's still 1/8, right? Either way. They've already done this for me right here. I've got my 5ths. I have my 4ths. Let's go with Emma. Emma, how many are we going to shade in of the 5ths right here? So I'm going to shade in 1, 2, 3. Asher Owens, how many of the 4ths am I going to shade in? 3 of them, yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3. So how many are shaded total? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 are shaded out of 20.
We ain't done yet.
Is that right? That doesn't seem right.
If you did it multiple, I think so.
Oh, I had to shade in these for some reason. I had to shade those in. It'd be 9/20ths. Yeah, you're right. 9/20ths. Sorry, 9/20ths. Because if you do that across, you can get 9/20ths. All the others work that way. I don't know why that one.
That's what I had.
Yeah, 9/20. All right. So 3/5 times 1/5. So how many? We have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. How many are we going to shade in right here? 3 of them. How many are we going to shade in on this one? That one there. So how many are shaded total?
3.
Out of? And I'm pretty good with that one, right? I'm just done. Very simple. Next one. 1/2 times 3/5. Well, we got our 1, 2, and then we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. All right. We're going to shade in how many of those? We have our 1 right here. Okay. And then how many are we going to shade in of the 3/5?
3.
So we have our 1, 2, 3, right? So this shows 1/2. This shows 3/5. So how many total are shaded?
3.
Out of 10, 3/10, or again 3/10. I know it seems crazy to shade a bunch of stuff here. There might be one person here who finds this really helpful. Keep that in mind. Back when we used to multiply, I used to show a method called the lattice method in multiplication. Okay, and I used to show a box method, and kids always seemed to use the box method, and I never really understood why they did it, but it helped some kids. Have you guys ever heard of the box method?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the lattice method?
I'm just
A lattice method, if I can even remember this, let's say we have 32 times 21. We take 3 and 2. It's been a while since I've done this, so bear with me. I'm not sure I even remember how to do it. 2 and 1. Crap, I don't think I remember how to do this now. Let me look it up real quick, and I'll show you guys later. But I don't know how it works, but kids found it useful, and it's been a couple years since I've done that. The box method, though, I had these kids on iLearn on a piece of paper doing these huge boxes everywhere. Whatever, they got it right. I didn't care. We're doing practice tests next week. All right, next one though. 3/4 and 2/5. Okay, 3/4 and 2/5. So how many am I going to shade? I got my 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the bottom. How many am I going to shade into the 3/4?
3.
So 1, 2, 3. How many of the 2/5 am I going to shade in? So I've got my 1 and my 2 here. Now for some reason they go ahead and shade all these in right here also. I don't know where that kind of showed that at before. It didn't show that, did it? Showed it in my book. What's 3 times 2?
6.
Over.
20.
So we have 6 shaded here out of a total of 20. We got to simplify it, divide both by 2, which gives us 3/10. Okay. Again, I don't know why they did that, because it doesn't really ever show that we have to. I'm gonna have to read up on that somewhere. Again, I'm learning this for the first time today also. All right, so we have our 3 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. How many we shade in? 2, Sailor says. And then Sailor, how many we shade this way? 1, 2. So I guess we shade that in too, according to that, right? I've got to make a box out of it. And what is our answer? How many are shaded? 4 out of 9. 4 nines. 4 nines. I'm assuming we shade those in because we were dealing with a bunch of 1s earlier. That's my only guess. Because we're looking at the area of the square. Turn the page. That sounds loud. Ruby biked a trail that is 3/5 of a mile each way. After biking 1/4 of the trail, she stopped to rest. What fraction of the mile did Ruby bike before she stopped to rest? Use models to answer our question. So let's see what kind of models I use here. C students model. So I'm guessing we're taking 3/5 times 1/4. Okay. Now if I was going to draw my models, how many of these rows am I going to draw? 5, thank you. So I'm going to say, I'm going to draw my box. 1, 2, 3. So this would be my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then how many of these columns am I going to draw? 4. So I'm going to draw my 1, 2, 3, like that. So I got my 4ths, got my 5ths. How many am I going to shade in of the 3/5? 3. So I'm going to shade in 1, 2, 3. How many am I going to shade in of my 1/4? 1. Is already shaded. How many total are shaded? Out of how many total? 3/20. Pretty easy, right? Which you could have guessed if you just did 3 and 20. Again, some of you, it might help. Last one we're doing today, until you get your homework. On Saturday, Tom spent 1/3 of the day preparing snacks and decorating for a birthday party. Tom spent 3/10, so I'm assuming 3 times 3/10 or 3/8. Sorry. What fraction of the day did he use to spend to decorate the cake? If I were doing this, I would say, well, what's 3 divided by 3? What's 3 divided by 3? What's 1 times 1? 1 times 8. That's what I would do. But if they want us to draw a stupid box, I guess I will. I need to divide it into 3. 1, 2, 3, right? I need to divide this into 8s. Oh, this is going to be fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I almost made them even, didn't I? There we go. We'll just pretend like that's right. And then we'll shade in 1 out of the 3. 1. And then I'm going to shade in 3 out of the 8s. 1, 2, 3. So that gives me what? 3 out of 24. Which is also going to be 1/8 whenever I simplify it. Whew, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
A lot of work for some of you. All right, guys. Go ahead and these shouldn't be too bad to shade in.
The models in the dust.
All right, again, if you want to use the shading, go ahead. If you want to just say, hey, I don't need that, I'm just going to multiply. But remember, do this one right here for me real quick. I'm going to do this one together, so I'm going to give you guys a free answer here. We got our 5, we got our 2. How many are we going to shade in that first one?
4.
So we're going to shade in 1, 2, 3, 4. How many are we going to shade in of the 1/2? There's 1. How many total are shaded? 4 out of 10. Will I leave it that way? Okay. Now, those of you that do it pretty quick, I would have started right here. I would have said, well, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then I could have said easily that's 2/5. It'd been done, but that's me. Okay. You, though, do it any which way that you, again, I give you all these methods, these models to use to whatever you want to use it with. When you guys are done, make sure you staple it and you put, this time, Ireland, the front page on the front and the homework on the back, and then make sure your name's on it and turn it in. We're going to do social studies real quick today. That's the last thing we'll have to do before lunch, and then we'll watch flip later. And the social studies probably won't take all that long today. We just have reading to do and answer a few questions. You got any questions? As always, I'll be around to help you, or let me shut this down real quick and I can help you. Ethan. Yeah, you can. Yeah. I will. Anybody else have any other for Holly?
Since one half of the false one is already shaded in, do I still have to shade in and
No, because it's already on the bottom side. It's already shaded. All right, Mikey. I'll get you the movie whenever. Actually, we're gonna read the what you could do if you wanted to go ahead and do, Mikey, is go to Google Classroom, and it's right here. These articles, all right. And all we're gonna read today, Mikey, is this first article right here. Okay.
Okay.
So just read that one. If you that's all we're gonna do is read it. I'm just gonna ask them a few questions on it or whatever. You don't really need to be here for that if you don't want to. So, all right.
All right.
Thanks, bud.
It had no lead in it.